Hey there, pantsless pioneers. Welcome back to yet another picturesque episode of the Working Without Pants podcast, the second picturesque episode. This is the place to be if you want to build an agency or service-based empire that generates millions in revenue, all while working from home without pants. So I'm your host, Jake Jorgovin. I am on my journey of building up multi-million dollar empires without wearing pants. And today I have the second episode for you in this picturesque series of LinkedIn frameworks. So if you haven't listened to the first episode, definitely recommend diving into that as it includes the first 3 out of 7 LinkedIn frameworks that we use for LinkedIn outreach. And in today's episode, I am going to be diving into MESS frameworks number 4 through 7. So these are going to include some additional approaches and basically all about how to do LinkedIn outreach directly to your target prospects, generate leads and conversations in authentic ways. So super excited for this and to share all of this with you guys. Now, before we dive into that episode, I do want to quickly point you guys to the sponsors of this show, which is ultimately if you're trying to do your own LinkedIn outreach and you need some help, reach out to us at leadcookie.com. This is my done-for-you LinkedIn lead generation service. We've got over 60 customers. We are become one of the top in this industry. And really, we can run your LinkedIn outreach campaigns where we do all the strategy, the scripting, handle everything for you, and you just get nice, warm conversations in your inbox. It's pretty dandy. So if that sounds interesting to you, reach out to us at leadcookie.com. We also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So second business that I have, which recently just launched and started, we're actually using LinkedIn Outreach to grow this one as well, is Content Allies. So if you are a content creator, you are an agency where you're posting content for your customers, anything like that, if you are a content marketer of any type or a blogger and you just want to get that monotonous stuff off your plate, then that's what Content Allies is for. We're virtual assistants for content marketers. So think about it like this. If you post a blog or you write a blog, you've got like 60 to 90 minutes maybe on the back end of getting that on your website, getting all that published, getting that shared out on social. It takes a lot of time. Do that with a podcast, just as long. And so, there in the past, it was either I create and do everything myself or I hire a content marketing agency. Well, we're kind of creating this thing in the middle which says you do it by yourself, but you get the benefits of the content marketing agency where basically we do all like the monotonous stuff. We get all those processes off your plate so you can just create more stuff. So that is what we're doing. That is Content Allies. If you're interested in learning more, head over to contentallies.com. All right. So that's what we have here for our intro. That is where we are right now. Pretty pumped and excited for you guys. Now we are going to dive into framework number 4 through 7 for LinkedIn outreach. So, framework numero 4, number 4, is the coffee/lunch ask. So, this is great if you are looking to focus on your local geography. That's where this framework tends to work really, really well. And so, it also tends to work better among small business owners than it does enterprise. We've actually tried this with a few people that were targeting like people at big companies. Little harder to pull off. We've seen some success. It's also like this framework, the cultural differences of cities make a difference. We did this in Nashville, insane results. Did this in Boston, and it was like crickets. That's because Boston people are kind of, as they would call them, mass holes, as a lot of people will say. I've learned it from living in the Northeast for a period of time. But they're just not as like friendly and open to just going and grabbing coffee. It's just like not a cultural thing, I think, in Boston like it is in other parts of the country. So definitely geography can impact this, and also who you're targeting and everything like that. So you don't want to be going and inviting like CEOs of 500-person companies out to coffee. They're probably not going to spend that time with you. But small business owners or people that work within organizations, they might be like a better fit for this. So you got to kind of figure out if this is the right approach. There's no clear right or wrong, but it definitely can work. So again, message 1. We're going to do that light connection request again. If you haven't listened to the past episode, I dive a bit more into like specific scripts for this. But one thing you want to add into this message one is you want to basically put a message in that signifies that you're local. So you might want to say, hey, I was looking at like other Nashville tech leaders, or I was looking at other people working in the tech space in Nashville, or whatever it is in Raleigh or wherever you're at. So that's kind of step one is use your connection request, keep it light, non-salesy, but definitely signal that you're local, as that's going to increase your conversion. The second one, you're going to then ask them for coffee or lunch, and really give a reason behind this. You might say, hey, like I love just like connecting with others in the local tech scene, or just liking to connect with others in their local real estate market. Just thought I'd reach out to see if be up for grabbing coffee and see if we can help each other. Simple approach like that. That's message two. You're going to ask for the coffee or lunch, and you're going to give some sort of reason. And the reason is important, like regardless of what it is you come up with. This is like there's a psychological thing where if I just say, hey, you want to go grab coffee or lunch? You're like, why? What's your motive? What's your intention here? And if I say, hey, you want to grab coffee or lunch? Love networking with other people in the area and just thought, see if we can help each other out. Suddenly you have a reason here. And even if it's nothing, it's like this goes all the way back from Robert Cialdini's book Influence, where he talked about like they ran this social experiment where they'd have a line of people at a copier, and they basically would have someone go to the front of this line of people at a copier, and they would say, hey, can I cut in front of you? And people would be like, no, you can't cut. They're just like, what the hell? And then they would like, if they said like, can I cut in front of you? I'm in a hurry, or like basically what they found is like any reason that they gave like increased the chance that someone would say yes. And so like they would say like, oh, I'm in like a super big hurry. That gave a reason, and someone was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then they like tried different things, and I can't remember like what exactly examples were from the book. I think they would literally have people go up and say like, hey, can I cut in front of you? I need to make this copy. Like it was just like something crazy. Like the reason like wasn't even logical, or it was like no, like not even connected to like an actual reason why they would cut in front of them in line. But it worked, and it literally like increased the conversion significantly of like people saying, yeah, sure, go ahead and cut in front of me in line. And so that was just again another interesting thing. And so it's just the psychological thing is if you're going to ask someone like this, give them just a reason, even if it's networking or you want to help them out, or just want to like meet others in the local industry, like whatever it is, just make that ask. So that's message two. And again, if you just do message one and two for a lot of these, like this will probably get you pretty good results. You don't get a message from there. Message three. For this one, since we're kind of going for this light networking approach, I like to just nudge and just say, hey, want to circle back around on this? Let me know if you'd be open to a lunch or coffee. It would be great to connect. So message three in this framework is really just going to be like a nudge, and not trying to do like a huge overly bigger thing. And if that still doesn't work, then message four, we're going to say, hey, this is what we do. This is how we can help you. Would you be open to connecting? And that is where we're going to basically kind of go back toward that direct pitch because they haven't engaged with the past few messages. So that is the coffee/lunch ask framework. Works really well. We've got a guy who's in a local geography, runs a software development company, and he's like, I just want to network and meet everybody in the tech scene. I just want to know everyone in the tech scene here. So like, let's just run this and get me coffees with people who are working in technical roles at the bigger companies in my city. And it's working awesome. He's getting tons of coffee meetings, he's networking, and he's like, that to me is the win, because I know that trying to just get a project cold for tech never works. It's like you guys just got to be there, make the relationship so they call you when they need you. So he's got the right mindset. It's working great for him. Challenge with this approach is that sometimes you might get people into the mix that they say yeah, and then you look at them and you're like, they're like actually not that exciting, like I don't really want to spend time with them. So that's kind of one thing that can be a challenge with this one at times. You got to make sure your targeting is really good and spot on, or you find just kind of a nice way to let people down if it's not too exciting. So some examples again of this approach working well. Again, we have the client who I actually mentioned in the last episode, who is combining this with a portfolio approach, we've actually merged them both, offering his portfolio and asking for coffee with local customers. Getting great results, getting great deals out of this. That's one that's working super, super well. The other one we have, this one actually I thought was really interesting. We have a offshore development shop. They're actually based down in Central America, and they basically, what we did for them is we just said, hey, let's schedule trips once a month to you guys to go up to a different city in the United States, and let's do outreach and just try to schedule coffee meetings while you're in America. And that has been really interesting. And so this take a tip for this, anyone who's like running an offshore dev shop, or any sort of offshore company, like that is unique. Like there's tons of people every day who are like blasting you and saying like, hey, we're this offshore company who we can do stuff for cheap. Whenever you say, hey, we're like actually gonna be there in person in your city for this week, would you like to meet up? And I'm like, whoa, well that's different. Like I can actually meet you. You're not just some ambiguous person that I'm like cautious of are you going to scam me or even are you legit? And they've gotten like insane engagement from this. So again, that's another one where we've done this to kind of like set meetings around a trip and travel as well. And yeah, so those are again some good examples of the coffee/lunch ask. All right, so that's framework number 4, coffee lunch. Everybody loves coffee and lunch. Okay, now on to framework number 5, numero 5, the market research approach. So for many of the customers where you guys are trying to launch or validate a new niche, this is really powerful, and I can speak a lot on this one because I'm using it right now for Content Allies. And basically what we found is like if you're trying to either like validate a niche or you're trying to launch a new service or a new product, like one of the best things you can do is not to pitch people and just reach out and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, would you mind providing feedback? Like really simple there, and it like the results from this are insane. Like people want to be helpful, they want to be seen as a leader, and they value like the fact that someone's going to actually like value their opinion goes a long way. And so this approach works super well, and it gives you tons of feedback. So I'm going to walk through the approach here, and then I'm just going to give the example of how I'm using this right now with Content Allies and what it is doing for me, because it is freaking awesome. I love it. All right, so message number 1, light connection request, again describing, in this one what we're going to do is kind of say, hey, currently launching a new business focused around this space, hoping to connect and get feedback from some people in the market, would love to connect. So you're not pitching, you're not asking for feedback, but you are kind of just sharing, hey, I'm trying to build something new in this space and I'm hoping to get feedback and connect with some others in the industry. So that's what you're going to kind of do with a connection request. You're not going to make the ask, but you are going to kind of set the intention that I'm trying to get feedback on something new I'm launching. Then message 2, you're going to say, hey, this is what I'm launching. Would love to get your feedback. Would you be okay if I sent over more details? And so let me literally, I'm going to pull up my LinkedIn right now, and I'm going to find my script. And give me 1 second here. I'm literally going to pull this up. And so this is what, okay, these are literally the scripts I am using right now for Content Allies and everything like that. So, hi Victoria, your profile caught my eye while browsing content marketers. I'm currently building a new service focused around helping content marketers automate their publishing and promotion process. It'd be great to connect and hear your feedback. And then whenever they connect to say, hey Victoria, thanks for connecting. I'm currently building a new service that helps bloggers and content marketers automate their blog publishing and promotion process with virtual assistants. If I send over some more information, would you be open to providing feedback? Victoria says, sure. We've got tons of other people. We've got this other guy, Paul, who just responded. Cool, thanks for getting in touch. Tell me more about your service. All these kind of things that kind of come through from this, where basically I'm literally just saying, hey, I'm trying to build something, trying to get feedback. Would you mind like providing feedback? And you get so much engagement. And so here's the cool thing. Whenever someone responds to that, I'll see if I can find one. Actually, no, I can pull it up right here. RESP. So whenever someone responds to this, like, and they say, sure, I'd be happy to connect, I'll say something like this: that's great to hear. Thanks for being willing to provide feedback. I'll often customize that first sentence a bit as well. And say, so you can see what I'm building at contentallies.com. Basically, we take all the monotonous parts of content marketing off your plate with the support of virtual assistants. Once you review the landing page, would you mind letting me know your thoughts, and would you ever use a service like this? So that's what I send after someone engages with it. And super, super high engagement. And the cool thing about this is two things typically come out of this. One is someone says, hey, this is my feedback. This is what I think. And I wouldn't use the service because of this. And that's valuable. That's useful for me. Like literally, like I've learned so much from these responses, and I've literally seen like the initial, I've rebranded the company before I ever even started sharing it with my list. And it came because of the response I got through cold outreach, where people were like, is this like an app or AI? And I'm like, no, it's virtual assistants. Clearly I'm doing something wrong here in my messaging. And so this was super valuable to see, like, how do these cold people who know nothing about me, they see my website, like, what do they think? And that was so freaking valuable to get that feedback. The other thing that comes out of this is, as I actually got it refined and got it a bit better, I'd have people be like, this looks awesome. Can we hop on a call? Like, I need this. And so you get people that actually start coming through and buying from this as well, and hopping on calls and just showing the interest. And so you're not even selling them, but they just see the offer. They go to give feedback, and they're like, oh, this exists? I didn't know. And they basically are really interested. We had one of our customers did this, and again, just super incredible feedback. He got tons from the market, learned a ton, and they're closing deals from this as well. And these guys are closing like $250,000 deals. Like they're not doing like a small thing. Like they're doing like big software tools. They're able to like pre-sell stuff with this. So this approach, super valuable. Again, this is going to be similar to the coffee ask. If they don't respond to that message 2, you could go on to message 3, message 4 to try to bump that and kind of nudge them. Again, don't make a hard sell. And then, message 4, if they still haven't offered feedback, maybe just make a direct pitch, because they might just be the person where they're kind of a butthead and they're not very helpful. But if you can sell them and just share the value of it, basically try that different approach. So market research approach, like connection request describing that you're launching something new and you're looking for feedback. Message 2, give the like one sentence pitch of what it is. Like create curiosity, don't give it all away. And then say, hey, would you be open to providing feedback? If they do, then that's where you share the link and ask for their feedback on it. If they don't respond though to message 2, and go to message 3, where you're going to bump that thread up and ask for additional feedback. And if that doesn't work, message 4, you're going to make a direct pitch and really talk about the value, try a different angle with it. So again, that is super useful, really powerful approach. Definitely recommend this out. We had a guy who was even doing this from like a consulting firm. He was basically trying to launch a consulting career in the medical device industry, which he was really passionate about. And basically, we reached out and we said, hey, I'm aiming to launch a consultancy in this space, looking to understand what are some like the biggest problems that people are facing. Like, would you be open to providing a quick call or feedback? Incredible engagement, incredible feedback. We got another guy who's launching a software product right now, and he's doing this. Super like he's booked like 20 calls in a month. Like, it's crazy the engagement that you get whenever you're just asking for feedback. Not all of those again convert to sales, but you learn stuff from them, and some of them do convert to sales. So that is framework 5. I probably should learn how to say framework in Espanol. But anyway, framework 6 here is the audience growth approach. And so this one, again, super cool. This is like a basic 2-step approach, and this one we've got a few customers using and love it. And it's just getting bananas results for what their objectives are. And so this is for kind of where you're not necessarily looking to generate leads, but you want to grow your audience for, say, like your blog or your content hub or whatever that is. And so like the 2 customers we have, one of them runs this like content hub that's like really cool. And that, actually, so it's managingeditor.com. So they do like this website for like content marketing managers and like content directors and anyone who's like kind of managing content. So they created this. And so for them, what we do is we do this create outreach campaign where we say, hey, so I regularly publish content for people like yourself, so I wanted to connect. That's our message one, something really light like that, really basic. We'll even put the link to the website in the connection request, which those links will actually work. And then message two will say like, hey, you can see more of the content I'm publishing at blank. Would you have any topics you'd like to see us cover? So again, this is like really like audience development kind of mentality here, because we're saying, hey, like, we're not selling anything. We're put out all this free content at this website. It's made for people just like you. You can see it here. Then you're going to get them engaged. You're going to say, do you have anything you want to see us cover? And they respond, they're like, oh, this is like what I'm struggling with. Like, this is really hard. And you can say, oh, cool, like we actually have an article back in the archives. Here's a link, check it out. And you get someone engaging with your content. Or like it's something you haven't covered and you're like, oh, that's awesome. I will keep you posted, let you know. We'll aim to get that in the calendar queue for like the next quarter or something. And like, so you're creating this engagement and you're getting these people like interested in being like, oh, this hub exists, and you're making them aware. So we're doing this for like managing editor. We have another one where it's a woman who's like a thought leader in the HR space. And again, like if your business is built around like email subscribers is crucial to your monetization or your sponsorship or your social followings, like this is just a bananas way to do this. Like we have another, actually third account doing this approach as well. And two of these accounts, like they make their money through sponsorship. And so it's like, well, like you're going to get, more eyeballs on your website. You're going to get increased traffic. You're going to get people that are going to end up subscribing to your email list because you make them aware of your site. And you're going to grow your LinkedIn audience here because you're going to have basically way more LinkedIn connections. So when you share your content out here, it's going to have even wider reach, which again is going to help you charge more sponsorship dollars or sell more stuff through your email list. So audience growth approach, again, super freaking powerful approach. Very valuable one. It's working really well for the customers that we have that are in this boat that are benefiting from like growing their audience this way. Also, combined to that, post content on your LinkedIn regularly. That's also going to create a ton of engagement. That's going to add power to this as well. But this is just the outreach way to kind of add and grow those new people. All right. Finally, I've saved for Framework 7 our worst performing script possible. It works in some occasions, but it's rare. And that is the direct pitch, where you just straight up pitch someone. You just go for it. Like you just go for it from step one. And every message you have in this is you're just going to pitch, you're going to pitch, you're going to pitch, you're going to pitch. This is almost always the worst converting approach that we run. We have, I would say the points where this can work is where when you've got a blue sky offer, it is new, it's unique, it's different, and you're going after enterprise customers. Because like some of those people, like they don't have time to wish-wash around. And so if you've got something really interesting, or you've got like this credibility of like a big company behind you, we've done this for a few bigger organizations, and we've done this outreach, like if you've got that credibility behind you, that can definitely help and like go a long way if you've got a big name and you're just like trying to offer this new service of this like bigger organization. But like this is typically the lowest performing framework. We've had some clients who've come in and they've been like no, we're going to pitch. Like that's what we want. We want to pitch, and we're going to give you the scripts and you're going to run them, and they don't listen to us. And then we get like 3 weeks in and they're like, hey, it's not working. And I'm like, yeah, it's because you're pitching. I told you not to pitch and you didn't listen to me. And so then we're like, all right, let's try something different. So we go to the free resource offer, or we go to the probing question, and suddenly like, hey, this is working. And so like basically like the pitch framework, like I'm not even gonna go into this. Basically, you just like pitch every time and you try a different angle. It can work, and I think where it works really well is like high level enterprise companies where you're going after high decision makers where they don't have time. They don't got time to look at your content. They don't got time to look at a free resource. They don't have time to answer your probing question. Like you've got to show up and say like, this is what I can deliver you. Do you want to talk? And that is, I think, where this works. But unless you've got that like laser freaking targeted, like great value proposition that's going to hook someone, most of the time this framework will perform worse than any of the other frameworks. I think the only one this worked well on, and this like, even with this, like I'll share this example, but we still kind of weaved in a probing question into his approach. was this guy, and he basically did IT software negotiations. And so he would basically go into a company and say like, hey, you got a Salesforce, Microsoft, Oracle contract. We're going to renegotiate that and save you money. And like, it's totally blue sky. Most people, like, we'd reach out to people and they'd be like, I didn't even know this existed. Like, hell yeah, I'd love to save like 20% on my Microsoft contract. Spend a core like $500,000 a year with them. Like, that's a lot of money. So that like worked, being a bit more direct and straightforward. But even with that, we would say like, we would still like take the pitch, and then we would add in like a question of like, hey, have you ever brought in outside help to like reduce your contracts, like IT software contracts? And like people would be like, no, I didn't know that existed. So we're still like probing the question, even though we're being a lot more direct and saying, hey, we can reduce your IT software expenses by 15 to 20%. So even when you go direct, you still need to like add this conversational element to it. So there we have it. That is the 7 LinkedIn outreach frameworks. Hopefully this has been valuable or useful to you guys. If you need help running these, or you don't know what is the right fit, reach out to us at leadcookie.com, our done-for-you service. We're going to create the scripting. We're going to create the strategy for you. We're going to run it all so you just get nice, warm conversations in your LinkedIn inbox, and then you can go close them and make oodles of cash. Had a call yesterday. Another customer closed a $100,000 deal from our approach, which is freaking awesome, and I love to see that stuff. I love being a marketing company where a majority of our customers make way more money than we do. I'll be honest, like not every customer blows it out of the park with this. We try to be really picky. That's why we do our 30-day money-back guarantee. But we've got, we've generated millions of dollars of sales for our customers at this point, and that is super cool. And it's by doing these like kind of like light conversational starting approaches. Like the one thing, if you don't take away nothing from this and you don't use any of the frameworks, it's that directly pitching your stuff to cold people doesn't work well. Instead, starting a conversation, starting a relationship, and just trying to be conversational and like just engaging with people, that is what works through outreach. Dude, I've done this for years. When I started, I was like, people told me this, and I was like, nah, man, I'm going to pitch. Like, that's what I'm going to do. and it didn't work. It didn't work with crap. And it took me years to finally come around to this and realize that like pitching through cold outreach sucks. All right, like I literally like I failed like my first year of doing any outbound stuff. Like it just didn't work. And when I finally came around to this and realized start conversations, like that is the goal of outreach, is just to get a dialogue going. That just completely changed the game. So if you take away nothing else from this episode, don't pitch, start conversations. All right. So that's what I have for today's episode. Hope you guys got a ton of value out of this. You can see more on the website under my blog, or in the show notes for this podcast. You can get a link to the 7 LinkedIn outreach frameworks that generate results. So thank you guys for listening. The 2 sponsors again for the show is Lead Cookie, done for you, LinkedIn lead generation. If you need someone to just write all these scripts, do it all for you, reach out to us at leadcookie.com. Guaranteed high-quality leads in 30 days or your money back. Seriously, no restrictions on that guarantee. Any reason you're unhappy, we'll refund your money. And then basically, if you have content for Content Allies, if you are publishing content, you need help like automating it, or you run an agency and you're doing content for a bunch of customers, let's get that low value work off your guys' plate. Let's give that to our virtual assistants, and then we're going to build and ramp that so that you guys can focus on the higher value work. So again, contentallies.com, virtual assistants for content marketers. So thank you guys for listening. See more about the show over at workingwithoutpants.com. Thank you again for being part of this pantsless empire we are building here. And if you want to build an empire without pants, then keep following along. I'm going to be sharing the whole journey of Content Allies over the coming weeks and months here as I build this into a multi-million-dollar business. And you're just going to be able to like go listen to these episodes and be like, let's follow Jake's journey as he built a multi-million-dollar business. So I'm just going to try to document the whole freaking thing along the way, and it's going to be super fun. So, thank you guys for listening, and until next time, I hope you are working without pants!